So, hi and welcome back to another episode of Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Welcome, sir. What can I do for you?
We are looking for a side quest, but it's not
Here
easy.
it comes!
Is it? Katherine.
You said you needed some help with something. What's going on?
Something's happened. Oh, a real mess. And I need help from someone reliable.
What is it?
When I was fishing around for information about Liechtenstein, I cast the net a bit too wide. And one of the servant girls I questioned was just found dead.
You think she was killed because of you?
I don't know. If I did, I wouldn't be asking you for help.
I'll help you. Tell me all about it.
Of course I will.
Who was this dead girl?
Her name was Alice. She was an ordinary, pretty girl. She worked as a maid.
Okay.
I heard they found her all hacked up. Tossed somewhere by the town wall. Oh, folk in town are saying it was absolute slaughter. They took the body to the morgue by the St. Peter and St. Paul cemetery.
I'll go take a look at her. See if I can find anything.
I think that would be for the best. Though, I don't think it'll be a very pretty sight. You can ask the gravedigger for details. He'll know the most.
Okay.
When did you last see the girl?
Around a week ago?
And did you notice anything suspicious about her?
Not at all. She was always cheerful, lively. She was looking forward to a dance.
Because she was alive.
Though I'm
Want to
afraid
say
she won't
that?
be dancing ever again.
What was Alice trying to find out for you?
She always brought me the freshest gossip overheard from her master. And lately, what the other maids in town were saying.
And did you learn anything important from her? Something someone would kill her for?
That's the thing. All she brought me was gossip. Who was cheating on who wasn't going to confession, those sorts of things. So you'll have to figure out the rest for yourself.
Okay.
What about your other girls? Are they alright?
Yes, fortunately. I'm careful enough to keep them pretty much in the dark about my plans. That's why Alice's death shocked me so much.
Do you think there could be something bigger behind the murder?
I don't know. Maybe she just got caught up in something. But it's strange. Why would someone do her like that? That's the kind of thing you do when you want to send someone a message.
Why did you ask me in particular for help?
Because you're the only one I know here.
Aha.
But don't take it the wrong way. I'm actually glad it's you. You're pretty reliable. Not even Zhishka would be of much help to me here.
Thanks. What are you gonna do next?
I'd like to ask the others if they noticed anything suspicious. If someone is following them and the like, but
But you don't want to scare them.
I'm scared myself. For them. Maybe nobody knows about them yet. If someone was to follow me, I could give them away. And I can't risk that. I don't want anyone else to die because of me.
What if I go and see them?
They don't know you, Henry. You'd only scare them. I'll figure something out. In the meantime, find out everything you can about Alice.
I know everything I need.
Good.
Yes.
Go to that
Wonderland.
graveyard, talk to the gravedigger, and take a look at that poor girl's body. In the meantime, I'll try to find out more. Then we'll put it all together, and I'll be damned if we can't come up with something.
I will look in all her cracks, in the cracks of this case. So let's see. Is it marked? Ah, it's this graveyard. Okay, so we don't have to travel so far. Which is a nice change of pace. A nice change of work. Do. No.
What's the matter? Did you know her?
Alice. She was almost like a sister to me. We served together for years, in the same house. Why'd you ask? Who are you?
I'm trying to find out who did this to her. I'm afraid the killer might want to go after my friend as well.
Ah, I understand.
Okay.
Who did you serve?
Our master is a local merchant. He is trying his hand at trading wine.
How did Alice get along with your master?
Fine. Just like with everyone. Our master is a bit strict, but he's fair.
What's his name?
Okay.
Can I speak to him?
Why? But you can't see him anyway. He's on a trade trip to Prague.
It occurred to me that maybe he could have done it.
No, he couldn't. He was gone when it happened. He hadn't been home in several weeks. And besides, why would he kill them others too? He never even knew them.
Them others?
What others?
Yeah.
You haven't heard? A few girls, like our Alice, died before. All really pretty girls.
Do you know of any suitors she might have had?
Suitors.
I know she was
That's a
seeing
nice
someone.
word.
Why?
I'd like to talk to him as well.
But I don't know who it was. Alice said he was rich and dressed nicely. But she promised him she'd never tell anyone his name.
And you never saw him?
No, never. I don't even know where she met with him.
Do you know what exactly happened to Alice?
No. Nobody saw or heard nothing. One day, she just didn't come home. And then, I found her. Like this.
Where?
What do you mean, like this?
You haven't seen her yet, have you?
I haven't.
Then don't. It's a horrible thing to see. She was such a pretty girl.
Ah, I guess it's a
Had
serial
such
killer like,
Beautiful brown hair.
how's it called in
Didn't
London?
even leave that
Jack the Ripper?
untouched.
What do you mean?
Who could have cut off her hair like that? And why? None of it makes sense.
So, I'll leave you to mourn in peace now.
Yeah, and pull off the rug right in front of her. Yeah, there's
So,
a
let's see what we
blanket
have
over
here.
her.
My God, someone really did a number on her. Oh, they ripped open her entire belly. And they didn't stop there. There must have been buckets of blood. Jesus Christ. There's hardly any blood left in her. The place I found her must look like a slaughterhouse. I should go there and take a look. Her lips are
Examine her
bloody,
mouth?
but nothing more. Tongue still in place. But if he killed her for blabbing, I reckon he'd have cut out her tongue or something, wouldn't he? These are more like chops than cuts. Somebody must have taken a sword to her. Knife wounds would be smaller, and an axe would have made a bigger mess. But it couldn't have been a long sword. That would have been clumsy. It was something shorter and nimbler. God, that madman cut off both her breasts and bits of flesh. What did he do with it all afterwards?
He's building his own wife. He's Frankenstein's monster building.
Did he really keep all the pieces? Nobody could be that sick, could they?
Nobody can be that sick.
Her face is a little bruised and cut, but nobody cut her there. But she has a dark ring around her neck. Was she strangled? The murderer must have had pretty strong hands, and her hair is all matted with blood and hacked off. Don't even know what colour it was. Maybe there's something more to it. What if the murderer kept her
murder
hair like some kind
mystery.
of sick trophy? Just some scratches and bruises, that's all. The killer probably surprised her. She didn't even have time to defend herself.
Nice feet, I guess.
So, the murderer must have awfully strong hands, because he strangled her and left a dark ring around her neck. Then he took a short sword or saber and started hacking at her. She's missing parts of her torso, but they aren't by the body. He also cut off most of her hair. cut off her breasts, but left her tongue. And left her lying
Yeah.
there for all to see.
This doesn't seem like
To send a message, maybe?
a spy case.
Or a warning. Only if it was a warning for telltales, he would have cut out her tongue or something, wouldn't he? I don't know why he killed her, but I don't think it's because of Katherine.
Let's go. Where's the grave digger? Mr. Digger! Mr. Grave Digger!
You must be the local grave digger.
That's right. They call me František. At least them that can speak do.
I'm Henry.
Greetings, Henry. What do you need?
That dead girl you have in the morgue. Alice.
You've seen her? Poor thing. Who could have done such a thing?
That's what I'm trying to find out. Do you know anything about her?
She's gone to meet her maker. What more do you want to know? You want to take away a piece of her? Well, you can't. Not a hair off her head, a bloody scrap of cloth or a thumb. You hear?
I don't want to take anything. I need to find something out.
Why?
Like what exactly?
Who killed her?
Why?
I'm in service of the Lords of Lipa. I'm to find out who was responsible for this murder.
What do the Lords of Lipa care about a dead girl?
Truth be told, not much. But it's at the request of her master.
Ah, that makes more sense. At least someone is trying to sort this out. The others weren't so lucky. It's true that Lumiere ain't shown no interest in her yet. I wouldn't expect that from him no more.
Who's this Lumiere? Another one of
His
those
master?
gawkers and collectors?
No. He actually tried to help.
Help? How?
Well, he was investigating them others.
Right. You said she wasn't the first.
Aye. We had a couple of similar cases. Lumiere said they was all killed by the same murderer.
And how did he come to that conclusion?
How do I know? Best ask Lumiere yourself.
Do you remember how many girls were killed?
You mean you don't know nothing about it? Here, even the sparrows are squawking about it.
I haven't been in Kuttenberg very long.
I see. There's been one every few weeks for the past year.
Oh, what the fuck? We're talking about 30 or
Do you
something.
know where the last one got killed?
I heard some talk about it when they brought her here. But what do you want to do there?
Look for clues.
Oh, don't ask like that.
Prints,
Just
blood,
tell me where it happened.
Anything.
That can help you.
That's worth a try.
More.
I heard
Go
she
and
was killed by the
blame
town
dirt.
walls, close to the hole in the wall, a dodgy tavern in the Hoprink neighborhood.
Thanks. What's this Lumiere got to do with this?
Well, like I told you, he used to work for the bailiff. I think he was a scribe.
A scribe keeps records in the Black Chronicle. Though I've never heard of one doing his own investigations.
Well, the old bailiff wasn't all that interested in the common folk. But Lumiere, he was quite helpful. Folk heard about it and went to him with whatever was troubling them.
I'd like to speak with Lumiere. Do you know where I can find him?
At his home in Bohemia Street, that's near the
Bohemia
church.
Street?
You won't find him at the bailiff's no more. I don't know exactly why, though. Seems he had some quarrel with the bailiff.
Thanks. You've been a big help.
It's my pleasure, especially helping someone from the land of the living again. Actually, wait a mo. Speaking of the living, there's a girl what comes here and grieves over that dead maid. I think her name is Barbara.
I know. I've already spoken to her.
Aha. Good then. Lots of luck to you.
But thanks.
Good to see you, my friend.
Watch. Oh, come on. We don't watch him dig the stuff. Go to see Lumiere. Oh, what the fuck? Where's the church? Lumiere! Hey, Mr. Lumiere! Illumination! Can I go through? I guess not, but I can go here. Over that fence. And we were quiet.
My respects.
The Lumiere.
Lumiere?
Oh. Christ, my head. Not so loud.
I need to ask you something.
I said not so loud. I have a splitting headache.
That's some hangover. He's useless to me like this. Unless I'm willing to wait for him to sleep it off, I'll have to get him some kind of cure or potion. This should sober him up.
Don't I have...
No, not that. Nothing like a little hair of the dog that bit you.
More booze. Christ. I'm gonna puke.
Drink up. It'll make you feel better.
Okay, it
Better
worked.
already. Wait! What? Who? What are you doing here? Who are you?
My name is Henry.
And what do you want from me?
I'm trying to find out who killed a certain girl. And I was sent to you.
To me? What for?
Are you Lumiere from the Rat House? The scribe?
Scribe.
I used to be. Now I'm just Lumiere the Madman.
They say that about you. Why?
Because I was just on some wild goose chase. And what came of it? Absolutely nothing.
But I need your help.
If I were you, lad, I'd leave it be. You can't help that girl anymore, anyway. You'll just end up hurting yourself.
Come now, Lumiere.
Poor girls. Nobody was all that interested in it, except for me. We let it be in the end. We let a monster walk among us. No way.
Still, let him...
You can't solve this
What?
yourself.
I'm not doing it for myself. I'm afraid he might kill one of my friends.
A friend, eh? That's not good. Not good at all. I searched high and low. And what did I get out of it? Just mockery. What makes you think you can find out more than I do?
Because I know people, and can easily convince them. In the end, they spill their guts.
Is that so? What about me? You think I'll spill my guts too?
A moment ago you were moaning in pain, and now you're deliberating whether or not to tell me what you know.
All right. Talk to me. Who was this dead girl?
Her name was Alice. She worked as a maid.
A maid? That fits. Yarka was a maid too. As were most of the other victims. What did she look like? What did he do to her?
I think that he strangled her first, and then went at her with a longer blade and disemboweled her.
Did you notice the strangulation right away? It took me a while. Maybe you really will track him down.
Do you think it's the same murder?
Counting your girl, that makes 6 victims who were first strangled and then mutilated. If it's not all the same person, they must be collaborating somehow.
This is the 6th one. How long has he been killing?
Probably about a year now. Sometimes it takes him months, sometimes weeks. But I'm including missing girls. Stanya and Zdena.
Did the dead girls have anything in common?
Aside from being pretty young girls with no proper family or background, no. I couldn't find much.
Do you think somebody is killing them because they're poor, and nobody will miss them?
Certainly. If somebody killed the daughter of a local lord, no stone would be left unturned.
But why does he even kill in the first place?
I don't know. Maybe he hates women. Damn it. I feel like I'm going in circles and can't get out.
What can you tell me about Yarka?
She wasn't the first. But thanks to her, people started taking an interest. She was a maid in a German family. By all accounts, she was a pious, polite girl. She was orphaned as a child. The priest from the church of St. Peter and Paul, Father Prokop, raised her. They found her body tossed behind a barn at the edge of town. She was cut all the way from her neck downwards. An awful sight to behold.
Did you have any suspects?
At first, I thought the son from that family did it. A murderer is usually someone close, you know. But then I changed my mind.
Why?
Well, for one, I remembered the 2 girls before her who ended up almost the same. Besides that, when I talked to the lad, he seemed he wasn't the least bit interested in Yarka. Then his mother told me that they threw her out a week before the murder because she was a harlot who stayed out till all hours of the night. That really surprised me, because Father Prokop had vouched for her good reputation. But Who knows? Maybe he just didn't want to admit what had become of her.
What about Stanya?
She was an alehouse
So my
wench in a
suspect's
tavern of
now
ill
the
repute
priest.
called the Hole in the Wall.
You said her body was never found. Maybe she just got out of town.
You have no idea how much I'd like to believe that. Only there was a lot of blood. Unfortunately, the investigation wasn't very successful. The Hole is a world of its own, and the people there aren't very forthcoming with information.
Did you suspect anybody?
You could suspect every second man there. Those people have nothing but thievery and deceit in their eyes. The innkeeper, Mole, definitely knew Stanya, since she worked for him. But he isn't all that chatty either.
So if I want to learn anything more, I have to ask this mole in the hole.
Yeah, he still runs the place.
And what about that Stanya? You said her body was never found.
Exactly. But to tell the truth, nobody spent much time looking for it. Besides Alice, Stanya was the most recent victim. It's only been a few weeks since she went missing, but I suppose nobody wanted to do any more digging.
But if her body was never found, how do you know she was killed?
Because she was the same type as the other girls. Maybe the prettiest of them all. Young, beautiful. A real live one. Lively as the devil. She was a thief. A pickpocket. I never could pin it on her, though. She always found some way to get out of it.
Maybe she robbed the wrong people and had to get out of town.
Maybe. She had a partner in crime by the name of Stanya. Quite a number. He's always sitting in the hole, boozing. When I asked him about Stanya, he told me he'd rather rip his own tongue out than talk.
Do you think he'd be more forthcoming with me?
He might be. You're not known all over town like a catchpole. It's worth a try. Besides, it might still be fresh in his memory. That would be a great help.
And what about the other two victims?
It all started with them, though nobody did much about it at the time. The first one worked as a bathhouse maid. They called her Chestnut. She'd only been in town for a short while, and nobody really knew her. So I couldn't find out anything more. But the other one, Libushka, she was from Loretz. She was a maidservant, too. I also talked to her mother. She said she was really cheerful and outgoing. There were lots of suitors circling around her, but she refused them all. She knew she was pretty, and knew she could do better than some farmhand.
You mean she wanted someone higher up?
That's what it sounded like. But her mother never found out who she had her eye on.
Interesting. I'll try to see what else I can find out from the mother. Where can I find her?
In the graveyard, lad. The poor woman died of grief. It's sad to say, but we can't help those two dead girls now. And they can't help us with our investigation either. There's nobody else left who could tell us anything about them.
Okay.
All right. It seems I know everything I need to know. It seems there's some killer on the loose here. He murders brunette girls and disfigures their bodies. His first and other two possible victims of the same killer are Stanya and Stanya. They both hung around a dodgy tavern called the Hole in the Wall.
There has to be some hidden connection between these cases. I hope you'll find it, since I couldn't.
I hope so. Otherwise we won't have anything to go on.
When you learn something more, stop by and see me. You've aroused a bit of hope in me, lad. I hope you won't disappoint me.
I hope so too. Then he started puking again. Let's talk to the priests first.
It happens! Just watch where you're going next time.
Did she... Hello? Okay. Never mind then. Jump over here, Henry. You can do this. I'm parkouring this place.
Good day to you. What brings you here?
Father, I need to ask you a few questions.
I don't have time for theological discussions, my son.
That's not why I'm here. My name's Henry, and I wanted to ask about the murder that happened recently. Someone killed and gutted a young maidservant and left her body lying by the city walls. And I hear it's not the first time this has happened.
Another one murdered. May the Lord grant her eternal rest. Why is it you ask?
I fear for my sister. She's also a maid.
Yes. Fear for those close to you is commendable. What would you like to hear?
One of the other victims was a girl named Yarka. But I reckon you know that, don't you? Where did you know Yarka from?
I knew her since she was a little girl. Knew her family.
And?
I was her uncle. When my brother and his wife died, I took care of her.
You raised her? A priest with a child?
Yes. Unfortunately, I'm not the first of the clergy to have a child on the side. But at least everyone knew Yarka wasn't my own daughter.
No offense, but how did you know what to do? Without a wife, without a family? I would have been lost.
I was a bit, when she was smaller, it was fine. But when she grew up a bit, maybe I was too hard on her.
Why do you think you were too hard on her?
Yarko was an orphan, with no family and no possessions. Her only chance of a good life was a good upbringing. And then, a husband. But the more I led her in that direction, the more she resisted me.
How did she rebel against you?
She wouldn't listen. She ran away. She ran around with all sorts. And how did it turn out? She died. And in sin. Such a disgrace.
Disgrace? What the devil are you talking about?
She was pregnant! Even if she had lived, what then? Nobody would want to marry her anymore.
How does that...
When she was small, I could. But when she grew up, she had to go. It wouldn't look right.
You're well off, though. Couldn't you provide for her?
I couldn't. Even if she had been my very own. More so, since she was my brother's.
But how come?
The church's property always remains the church's. They keep a close eye on that.
What can you tell me about her?
About Yarka. She was an ordinary girl. She served the von Groll family.
Who do you think killed her?
William, that pig of Satan. He gambles in the tavern on All Saints' Day and leads the locals astray. Yarka always went there to listen to music. I'm sure he got her with child.
Why do you think it was William? Do you have any evidence?
Evidence? He's a skirt chaser, a tool of Satan. He messes with poor girls' heads.
And does anyone else come to mind? No other man spoke with her?
No, absolutely not.
I've heard enough,
Okay,
Father.
interesting. Maybe it's the
I'll be going.
place, or
Son,
someone that's regular in the place. Maybe the
I'll
musicians
give you
even.
some good advice. Don't listen to Lumiere. That man has gone completely mad.
Actually, I think he's pretty well off in his mind. So, fast travel on here. Maybe we can solve this case till the evening, so we have to be prepared for that. So, Sherlock Henry is going to solve this case with all of his 30 points in brain. Yeah. Yeah. This will be a good case study for serial killers in the medieval ages in Bohemia. Let me in. So. One of them is outside, if it looks like.
God bless. Greetings to you. How can I help?
Did a Stanya work here?
Stanya. Maybe. It depends on who's asking.
My name's Henry.
Names don't interest me.
You
The main thing is whether it's a good guest or a bad guest asking. What kind of guest are you, Henry?
I'm a good guest.
Really? Let's see. Do you know how to recognize a good guest?
By the fact he spends a lot of coin?
Aye. I like talking to them kind of guests. A lot. So, what'll it be, my good man?
You're
What if I simply paid you, and you tell me what I want to know?
Ask away.
I want to know if Stanya
I haven't
works
paid
here.
yet.
She did.
Idiot.
And she
Ah,
don't
shit,
know
I
more.
paid.
What's it to you?
I heard she disappeared without a trace. So I'm trying to find out if anyone had anything to do with it.
It's possible. The chamber she was sleeping in here was totally ransacked. The door open. Everything emptied out. And Stanya was gone. All I found were bloody footprints.
Tell me something else.
First, you'll have another beer.
It was not what.
Or is it time to pay?
What?
If you want to ask, you have to drink. Didn't you get that?
You're quite the extortionist.
I prefer to be called an enterprising man of trade. So, what'll it be?
I'm getting tired of this. I'll give you the money up front, and that's all you'll get, whether I'm a good guest or bad. Got it? Now you're gonna spill it. Got it?
All right.
Did anybody see what actually happened when Stanya disappeared?
No, it was at night. Nobody saw or heard anything. The tavern tends to be empty at that hour. And you won't meet many people on the street, neither.
What was Stanya like? What can you tell me about her?
A bold woman. One has to be here. Everyone's ballsy here unless you nip it in the bud right away. She was hanging around a bard for a while. I don't know how close they were, but she also had another suitor.
Someone from the city?
No, a charcoal burner. I heard he was from somewhere in the, Verchlitz Valley. I think his name was Barton?
Oh. Yeah, it updated. It's the bard.
What do you know about that bard?
The
What
other
about
woman
him?
listened
He's a
also to his
minstrel,
music
skirt chaser.
in the bar.
What more can I say?
And
He
that's
called
the
himself
connection.
William. As far as I know, he plays in the Miners' Tavern in the evenings. But sometimes he shows up here, too.
You think he might have been the one who...
Now that you mention it, he cleared out of town for a while and only came back not long ago. It could be him, all right. I know he met with some odd people and talked about God knows what, like bloody spies. Besides, you know
But
what minstrels
this
are like.
answer is not too
Lasses
obvious,
just
I would
flock to
say.
them. And like they say, opportunity makes the thief.
Or in this case, a murderer. That's all I need to know.
Be with you.
Let's ask this guy.
Are you Sternat? The one that went with Stena?
Who the fuck are you?
Just an ordinary bloke who has some questions.
Well then, piss off. You won't get any answers here. All you're gonna get here is a kick in the teeth.
Why so rash? That kind of attitude will do you no favors. Let's make a deal. You tell me everything you know about Stanya, and I'll make sure you're no worse for wear.
Ah. You're the lord what that whore robbed. Don't worry
What?
about it. She weren't nothing but a lying bitch.
So, if I understand correctly, we can make a deal.
For the right price, I'll tell you all I know.
Oh, everyone is about money.
Is this the right price?
You fucking bet it is. Ask away and I'll tell you everything.
Could have given him like one question.
Where can I find Stanya?
Aye. That's what I like to fucking know too. Last time I saw her... Well, that'd be back when she managed to fleece you.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to find her.
I can well imagine. Well, she went to Ravstein Mill. It's quite a long ways away. She had some unfinished business with some bloke called Pine. Ain't nobody seen her since then.
What can you tell me about Stanya?
What do you want to hear? I try to keep her out of trouble, but there's just no helping some women.
So you were taking care of her?
Well, just in front of the others. Other than that, she did what she wanted. Always made her mind up and did things her own way.
So you weren't too fond of her?
Not really, no. But she did have a knack for making coin.
Did she have any friends or lovers who'd know more? Did anybody come here to see her?
Who come to see that bitch? She was always off somewhere, seeing someone. Although, once...
Someone came to see her?
Well, aye. Some stuffed frog came here once. All old and decrepit. He said he had some job for her. That she should leave behind her sinful life and all that shit. But he left
Oh, is it a
empty-handed.
priest then?
She told him to go to hell.
Do you know who that priest was?
Some fucking Prokop or Pravoslav or some such shit. But that reminds me, I saw her a couple of times with another bastard. That
Oh, the
fucking
bard.
William.
Maybe, I guess we have two...
And could she have run away with this bard, William?
With that lily-livered fop? Well, he ain't been seen in town for some time, but I think someone was out to get him. He still don't come here no more. He plucks that loot of his in the miners' tavern. The wee shit.
What do you know about this priest?
Not much. Seems they knew each other from before. And he had some job for her somewhere. Serving as a maid or something. But she weren't stupid. She told him to fuck right off.
And did he go?
Aye, indeed. He didn't look like the kind of fella
Why
that would
did
knock some
he
sense into a
need
woman.
her
I think
for
he
something?
just told her if she changed her mind to come and see him. Or some shit like that.
And could she have changed her mind and gone to him? And that's why nobody's seen her?
No, no. She took off. I'm sure about that.
I've heard enough.
So I think the next options we have... Jo, det är quick. Question, maybe a minister. Let's go here and check the path. I would say then get our horse and ride down. So, Pisek, let's go. We need to discover a crime scene.
Easy.
I guess that's
Nice
what
and
we are
simple.
going for, or what we are estimating. So, let's ride down to the area. I think there must be some sign on the path, like an ambush scene or blood, and from there we'll find then the actual body, or the... who's riding there? I would love to discover this place. Anyway, Where's this guy going?
Quick!
Don't I know this guy? Yeah, but I'm busy, sorry.
Quick! Quick! Whoa!
Let's see. I guess you have to talk with the different people to see if you can find something. Maybe there then?
Quick!
Let me down, piece of charcoal burning. I guess I have to go.
I need to ask you something.
If you're here for charcoal, you'll have to wait.
I'm not here about charcoal. I'm looking for Stanya, an alehouse maid from Kuttenberg.
Aha! And why are you looking here?
I heard she was consorting with some charcoal burner here.
Well, I don't know nothing about that. Who goes with who?
There's someone. Let's talk to him.
I need to ask you something.
I don't have time for that. Ask the foreman. You'll find him around here somewhere.
Mr. Foreman. Hey, this guy? No. There's someone? No, I can't talk to him. Where is this guy? I thought he might be standing somewhere. Like, not really doing labor. I talked with this guy. Did he talk? No, this guy seems
My
different.
respects.
No. What's this guy? No. Where is this guy? Oh, there are some more. Barton. Ah.
I'm looking for someone named Stanya.
You're in a charcoal camp, fella. What would a woman be doing here?
But you know Stanya, don't you?
Aye. You could say that. Why?
I'm looking for the killer of a girl in town. And I heard that someone also tried to kill this Stanya.
That's true. She told me something like that. But that was a long time ago.
So you don't know what became of her?
I really don't know, mate. But even if I did know, how can I be sure you aren't that killer?
Lumir himself, the Kuttenberg bailiff's former scribe, gave me the task. He was looking into her disappearance, and he sent me to find her.
Well, I don't know. I remember Lumir. He was all right. That's all true, but...
But what? What are you still brooding over?
You seem like the right man for a job like that. Sorry, but after all that happened to Stanya, I like to be careful.
So Stanya is here?
Aye. She's hiding with us. Since that thing happened, she's afraid to even go outside. I don't know what to do with her anymore.
Can I speak to her?
If it'll help.
Can you hide the crime?
She's hiding in that cottage. But be nice to her. She's in a bad way. She used to be such a gutsy girl. Till we meet again.
Okay, so let me in.
Who are you? How did you find me? If
I'm your
you
killer.
came here to finish what you started, I'm not afraid of you. I'll claw your eyes out.
Don't be afraid. Barton told me where to find you.
Barton sent you to me. What do you want from me?
Lumir thought you were dead. I was supposed to find out what happened to you.
Lumir? From the rat house? He sent you.
Exactly. Someone killed a girl in Kuttenberg. Lumir thought it might be connected with you, so maybe you could help us find out who did it.
How can I help you when I haven't been in Kuttenberg since... I don't even know when.
You disappeared from the hole in the wall without saying goodbye. Without a word. What happened?
Someone attacked me when I was coming home from the baths one night. I managed to get away, but I was so afraid. I decided to run away from Kuttenberg.
Did you see who it was?
Not at all. I didn't see anything until he jumped out of the shadows and grabbed me around the neck. And he was terribly strong. I nearly blacked out right away.
And how did you manage to break free?
I had an empty pitcher in my hand, and I hit him with it. He howled and let me go, and I ran away.
Here? To the charcoal burners?
No, first to my room in the hole. I was so scared there. I took what I could and ran. Here, to Barton.
And your lover? What did he say?
At first he was horrified, because I had cut myself on a shard from the pitcher and was all bloody. He's been hiding me here since then.
What was it like working in the hole?
Well, I earned a few groschen, that I did. But I often had to grit my teeth.
How so?
Every single day I had to put up with their lewd remarks. Rich or poor, everyone wants to grope a girl. People, well, us girls have to watch out. We can't just put up with it. And sometimes we have to be tough, especially in a place like the hole. But you can't overdo it either. That's no good.
How so?
Because if you smile at them nicely, then sometimes they leave a groschen, or even two. You have to keep a balance. To look friendly, but unavailable.
Not too friendly.
You said that rich or poor, they all like to grope girls. Like who?
Truth be told, the hole isn't exactly a good place for a rich man, but young von Groll used to go there for a while.
Is that so? Did he talk to you?
He smiled at me a lot, so I smiled back. But beyond a few groschen, there was nothing more to it. Then this thieving wench started hanging around him and... Oh, it doesn't matter. But that servant of his didn't like it, tried to drive her away, and so the young lord stopped bringing him with him.
Von Grolla had a servant with him?
Aye, a pudgy fella, well-dressed, but had a mean face. He never said a word or smiled, or even said thank you.
You walked home from the baths at night?
What's so odd about that?
Well, at night, the baths are...
Ah, right. I went there after closing. I always brought the girls a pitcher of wine or ale and took a bath while they drank it.
Ah. So that's why you had the empty pitcher you hit him with?
Right. I went there regularly. Every week.
The same way every time?
Aye, always the same way. The shortest one. I didn't want to stay out too long at night.
And who knew that you went by yourself to the baths?
Well, everyone from the tavern, I reckon. I didn't hide it.
Why didn't you go back to the hole?
Just to get murdered there? Are you mad? I'm never going back there. Not until they catch him.
Do you remember anything important about the attacker? What he looked like? What he was wearing?
I don't know anything. It was at night. He grabbed me from behind, and then I ran and never turned back.
And what about when you hit him? What did he do?
He let me go, and cursed.
Aha, and what did he say?
He said Scheisse, in German.
That's a clue.
Seems you're the only one to survive the killer's attack. I know it isn't easy for you to think about it. But try to remember something else about that moment, or when you were running away. Anything can help us, even if it seems insignificant.
I don't know. It's all like in a fog.
You were walking down the street. Did you notice anything before he attacked you?
No, nothing.
You didn't see anything or hear anything?
Actually, I knew the side street wasn't empty. I heard somebody talking, but when I looked, there was nobody there. So when somebody grabbed me, I completely froze.
Did you understand what they were talking about?
Not at all. But there were two voices. Two of them waiting for me there.
Mm-hmm.
I heard William liked pretending to be a spy. Do you know anything about that?
Aye, I thought it pretty silly. A stupid trick to make himself seem more interesting. Though, I reckon he's more likely to attract an ass-kicking than a woman.
Couldn't it have been that innkeeper then? You yourself said he's a pig.
Aye, when he drinks, he turns into a total bastard. All lewd remarks and groping fingers. The lecher. Only when I got to my room, I could hear him snoring. It couldn't have been him.
Couldn't it have been Father Prokop?
Father Prokop? I don't know him.
No, he's pretty old. He preaches in the Church of St. Peter and St. Paul.
I don't know him. And if he's an old man, how strong could his grip really be?
How are you now?
I'm still awful scared. I can't fall asleep knowing that, and I can't even really leave the house.
It's difficult, I understand. But I need you to think hard one more time. Aside from those voices and
I need you to think one
what
time.
else do you remember?
I didn't hear him at all, and then he grabbed me.
And nothing else? Did he grab your hair?
Well, no. He grabbed me by the throat right away, and squeezed. Just for a moment, but I still had a big bruise round my neck for weeks. Barton said the man must have had a terribly strong grip, like a miner or swordsman.
I reckon that'll be all.
I'm sorry I'm not able to help you more.
You don't need to apologise.
Thank you. Could I ask you for a favour?
If it's in my power.
When you catch that bastard, would you please let me know? So I can finally stop being afraid.
I'll stop by if I can.
I will do that.
God be with you, sir.
With used to.
Poking around that?
Yeah, talk to you, you menace. Can we fast travel there? There's quite a lot of path, but we might get there right in time. And we have to travel back and then it's night time, I guess. So this will be a bit bad. Let's mark it. Let's go there. Bisek, let's go. We have to get more information. Who the killer is. Oh shit. Careful. Interesting, huh? But I really thought the Zelada would be dead when I found her. Man, not gonna lie, it's better to talk to someone than have the corpse. Not him. No, this guy.
You're all...
Are you Pine?
I am. Why?
I'm looking for his Stanya.
I don't know any Stanya.
Stonard said something different.
You're a friend of Stanya, are you?
Actually, I don't really know him that well. But he's the only one I know who knew Stanya. He sent me to you.
Well, if he told you that, I reckon it's all right. He's not much of a traitorous rat, I reckon.
I wouldn't entirely count on that. So you knew Stanya? Can you tell me something about her?
I know Stanya all right, but she ain't been here in some time. Why you...
I'm looking for a...
Whatever.
I heard she wanted to sell you some value.
Oh, aye. She left it.
And what?
Let's go through that.
Where did she get
She did first.
Yeah, okay, I will skip that.
It's
If it leaves...
I made it.
Annoying.
Well,
I hope... See you soon, my friend.
Okay, I could have skipped this action. Why is it there now? Can I get up here? Henry, you can do this. Come on, Henry, you can climb up this hill. Yeah, perfect. Through here. That's the crossing.
That has to be that ford Pike was talking about. I should take a look around here.
What? Take a look. Oh, I see. This is all bloody. Where did this lead? Oh, we found another victim.
Poor thing. She didn't get very far. Ugh, she's been lying here a long time. At first glance, this body isn't as mutilated as the others. Unfortunately, I can't tell if somebody strangled her like the others. She's been lying here too long for that, but her head is smashed in. Either the murderer hit her with a rock, or dashed her hard against the ground. She must have put up a fight. Or maybe he lost his patience.
But she still has her hair.
She's all stuck to her clothes.
So, is this
torn up? But I don't see any cuts. The rips are odd. Like someone was looking for something. I can't make much out by now. But it seems as if the fingers on her right hand are broken. Did the murderer torture her? Or was he trying to get something out of her hand? Oh, my God. Oh, something fell out of her. A signet ring. Oh, that must be the one she stole. How did it get inside her?
She ate it.
Did she swallow it herself?
Yeah.
Or did the murderer shove it in there? Was she trying to hide it? Or was it punishment for stealing? Well, that's enough. But what does it all mean? I'd say she put up a decent fight, and the killer had to improvise. And that's about all I can find out. She's probably been lying here a few weeks, but that ring is a good lead.
Okay. Let's fast travel back to... Hopefully we are not too late there. Right through the forest. Ah, there were the wood cutter charcoal guys there. It's 8. Not too late actually. I think he should be still around. Put the torch out.
Be careful.
Is it still throwing up? Or is it done? Lumiere, why are you sleeping?
I found out some interesting things about those murders. Just like you said.
That's wonderful news. But wait a while. I promised Katherine we'd wait for her.
You know Katherine?
She came to see me soon after you did, and started asking me questions. Just like you.
Will you send for her? So, we're all here.
I hope nobody else shows up. How did it go?
I reckon I've found out all I can.
And do you know who the murderer is?
Not exactly, but I have a few ideas.
I've asked around a bit, and I have my own suspicions.
Is that so?
Let's check it.
See,
It would be
I
interesting.
was trying to recall some more details, and I had someone come to mind as well.
I didn't do all this for nothing, did I?
Well,
Well? Who do you suspect now?
Well, I'd say William did it. The minstrel.
You can't be serious. He's innocent.
Uh-huh. And who do you think it was?
Prokop. I'm sure of it.
No. Really? That's impossible. It couldn't have been him.
So I see we disagree. Too bad. We could have been done with it quickly.
Well, who do you think it was then?
I'm not entirely sure. First, I'll tell you what I found out, and then it might be easier for us.
Go on then. Starting with who?
Let's talk about Yarka, the one raised by Father Prokop.
What did you learn about her?
Prokop didn't just raise her out of the goodness of his heart. He was actually her uncle.
Really? But he still could have killed her.
His own relative?
Why not? He's a priest. I'm sure he knows the story of Cain and Abel.
Prokop also admitted that he didn't know how to handle her, and perhaps he was too strict.
What do you expect from a Bible thumper? Man punishes and God forgives. It never occurs to them that if man didn't punish, God wouldn't have to forgive.
Well, maybe I wouldn't hold it against him. He really tried to make sure she was well taken care of. He wanted to find her a husband, too.
And did you learn who he found?
No. I think it fell apart when Yarka started rebelling. Yarka started working for the von Grolla family, where she remained until her death.
I was there to ask whether she'd given them any trouble, but they said she was always thorough and reliable.
Ah, so what's the story with von Grolls?
A very wealthy and important family. The mother is quite devout, known to spend a lot of time in prayer. Old von Grolla's been sick for years. Can't even get out of bed.
So, who runs affairs?
That would be young Hendel. They say he's quite successful.
Before her death, I heard she often went to dances.
There's nothing wrong or surprising about that. But maybe she found someone there.
Maybe. Prokop was convinced that she went to see William. That was actually the only name he mentioned.
That doesn't mean anything.
It means she had some relationship with William, or at least knew him.
And now, most importantly, Yarka was pregnant when they killed her.
I didn't know that. Do you know for sure? So they gutted her?
To make it impossible to tell she was pregnant. I wouldn't be surprised.
May God forgive us.
Do you know who she was pregnant with? Because if we know who the father is, we'll likely know who the killer is.
She didn't tell Prokop.
It had to be someone from those dances. Maybe William.
Prokop is convinced that she was murdered by that bard, William.
And I agree with him. I heard the daughters of important men come to see him. It even went so far he had to flee the city. And the moment he's back, there's another murder.
I don't agree. I saw him play, and he doesn't look like a murderer. A seducer?
He doesn't look
perhaps. But there's something about him. Maybe it's just his songs.
But he's a skirt chaser. If he got Yarka pregnant, then...
Perhaps. But why would he kill and mutilate her? He could have just run away.
But then he could never come back.
Why not? He could come back a year later, once things have died down, the child would be born, the shame forgotten, and nobody would bring it up again.
I suppose that makes sense. That's all I was able to find out.
You still found out more than I did.
But it's not enough. We still don't know who the killer is.
But we can agree that she was killed because of her pregnancy, can't we?
Agreed. Somebody got rid of her to make sure nobody found out she was pregnant.
I'm sure William wanted...
William isn't the only man with a prick. And he certainly didn't use it to strangle her to death.
Such language. What are you trying to say?
That William isn't the only man in the city. It could have been anyone. And now we'll never find out.
I'm not saying it couldn't have been him. Though I don't think it was. It just seems foolish to only focus on him.
I suppose you're right. Let's forget it.
I managed to find Stanya.
Alive? You found her alive?
I did. Alive and well. Hiding with the charcoal burners.
She's not one of our victims?
She is. She just managed to escape the killer. She said she was attacked on her way home from the baths. She heard somebody talking in a side street, but it was empty. But when she walked by, someone grabbed her by the throat and started strangling her.
And how did she manage to get away?
She was holding an empty pitcher, and she smashed the killer in the face with it. He either got startled or hurt, but he let her go.
Did she get a look at him? Did she take his eye out or something?
No, she didn't stop to find out. Just ran. Which is probably why she survived.
And what about the blood in the bedroom?
She cut her hand on the broken pitcher. She didn't stay in her room for long. She was still so scared that she grabbed her things and ran off to her beloved charcoal burner. She said she returned from the baths in the evening regularly, and somebody knew exactly which way she would take and where to wait for her.
You mean someone followed her beforehand to figure out where to ambush her?
Who knew that she went to the baths?
Apparently everyone in the tavern. She didn't hide the fact. She also said she was sure it wasn't Mole. He may be a pig, but the evening she ran home, he was in bed snoring. According to Stanya, the murderer had a terribly strong grip. Her neck was bruised for almost a month.
Doesn't almost every man have a strong grip?
Depending on what they take in hand every day. A tankard, a quill, or a hammer.
Except none of our suspects are miners or blacksmiths, eh? According to Stanya, the murderer didn't say a word the entire time.
That's strange, right? I'd expect him to at least call her a whore.
The only word he uttered was when she smashed him in the face with the pitcher. He said Scheisse.
So, we're looking for a German?
Even I say Scheisse sometimes, and I'm not German.
Besides that, she also recalled hearing two voices in the alley. Someone was talking to the killer.
So we have a witness. Now, just to find him.
Or an accomplice. If I remember correctly, the other one must have seen the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And he didn't go to report it.
I asked Stanya if she knew Prokop. She said no.
Maybe she just doesn't remember him. Or he gave a different name, or...
I don't think Father Prokop is the type to frequent the worst tavern in Kuttenberg.
Stanya admitted that she knows William. He flirted with her and tried to get to know her better, but nothing came of it.
And that's probably why I wanted to kill her. And likely rape her before that.
Well, perhaps, but Stanya doesn't think so. She's sure it wasn't William, and no matter what they say about him, in her eyes he's a good lad. And that's all that Stanya told me.
I'm so glad that girl is alive.
Me too. At least someone's had a little luck. Does she want to come back, or will she stay with the charcoal burners?
I don't think she'll come back. She's so scared now they'll come back for her, she doesn't even leave the house. I managed to find Stena.
You found her? Is she alive too?
No. Unfortunately, she's dead.
And where did you find her?
Pretty far away. Near the mill she used to sell things at. Someone caught her in the forest when she was coming home with a load of coin and killed her. I reckon she put up a hell of a fight. So the killer got nervous and ended things quickly.
So he didn't strangle or mutilate her?
She'd been lying in the woods for a long time, so I couldn't really tell. But he definitely didn't hack her up like the others. Judging by what her accomplice said, she robbed someone good. She had so much jewelry on her, she could hardly carry it. And what's odd is when she was murdered, the killer left her basket of valuables behind.
So I reckon he didn't kill her for the money.
Father Prokop came looking for Zdena and nearly cursed her on the spot.
What did he have in common with a thief?
He had also looked after her, but unlike Yarka, she ended up on the street, and he took it badly. My mouth is starting to hurt from all this blabbering.
So are my ears and head.
Come now, we're nearly there. We just need to find our suspect. So, Henry, who do you think did it?
We didn't really talk about the Fangroles, but I'm not sure. How can I
I suspect one of the Von Grollers.
What leads you to think that?
Are you sure it wasn't William?
A German, maybe. Isn't
Yorka
there
was
a family
pregnant,
that speak German?
and if the father was young Von Groller, it would make sense if he got rid of her.
Sakura, you're right.
But William could have fucked her too. Just saying.
Alice had a young and wealthy suitor, and young Von Groller fits both descriptions.
True, true.
We could be getting somewhere.
Yorka was their maidservant until she started rebelling, right?
Yes. Do you think she was rebelling because of someone in particular?
Perhaps the young lord?
That's possible.
And that's all I can pin on him.
So, do we agree that it was young Von Groll?
Well, old Von Groller can't do much now, can he?
So do we really agree that our most likely suspect is young Von Groller?
Aye.
Okay,
I agree.
maybe
I
I'm
don't
not
have a
really
problem with
certain about it.
Little rich
I
boys
just
are capable of
wondered if we
anything.
can discuss them a
But
bit
what
more.
are we gonna do about it? Our suspicions aren't enough.
They'll just laugh at us without something more tangible.
So, you wanna search their house?
There's nothing else we can do. There must be a clever way to do it.
We have to find some
Break in,
evidence.
kill
Our
them in the sea,
conjecture is enough.
hit them on their
What
faces.
will we do?
You could sneak in there.
Or break in?
Catherine.
It's
That's
the
not
same.
necessary. The young lad wants to learn swordsmanship, and the old one is sick and always calling for a physician.
So I can either pretend to be a sawbones or a swordsman, or break in. That's a lot of options.
You're a clever lad. You'll figure it out.
Okay. So, I guess the first part of the investigation with my trusted Watson and Watson 2, or Watson and Watsine, are done. And with that, we are going to end this episode. So, thanks for watching, and stay put for part 2.